FIFA are planning on introducing a change to the offside rule, guys. This process is still in an early stage, and FIFA and IFAB will assess the latest trial results at the end of the year. Netherlands, Italy, and Sweden are reported to be the countries that will be hosting the trials for the trial period. But according to Dale Johnson, ESPN's VAR analyst, he says that this is a very, very long way from becoming a law. If the IFAB moves to the next stage, then there will be additional tests in senior football. Former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger, currently serving as FIFA's chief of global football development, is credited with spearheading this fresh change. Guys, what do you guys think about this new offside rule? It's quote unquote called the daylight rule. You just have to have one bit of there has to be clear daylight between you and the last attacker in order for offside to be called now, with this new rule. Some people are saying that this will revolutionize football if adopted. High lines will be punished more often. Catenaccio will be back. The deep line will be back. Another person added, finally, I've been saying for 2 years, no more offsides for kneecaps, toes, and elbows, which I'm not sure about that. But and another person on social media was saying things just got even harder for defenders. Won't be any point in playing offside. Best thing to do is play deep line, as almost impossible to get a striker offside if they are intelligent enough.
I feel like we're just going to get the reverse, where he's going to be on by a toe.
Right.
Instead, do you know what I mean? I feel like it's just going to create even more controversy.
I think there'll be more decisions that can be clear cut, but there's still going to be that controversy of, well, but his toes on, his heel is on side. Yeah. His back of his head is on side, sort of thing. His and then I'm not sure it's going to help. I think it could, but it's just complicating a rule that was never complicated before. Or was it always complicated? We just never really saw it back in the day because there wasn't VAR. You just went with what the referee and the linesman said, and you were like, yeah, okay, you occasionally get it wrong. But I don't know. I'm not sure. What level of football is it being tested at? It's not senior, is it? Because you said in that quote it will go to senior football later.
Yeah. I don't know if it was senior football or maybe international senior football. But I don't think it's being tested at the highest level in Italy and Sweden and Netherlands yet.
The thing I've got is why don't they just use the VAR equivalent thing that was used at the World Cup? That was so quick. The little 3D models where it just drew that very quick line and it was offside. Or not. It was really, really quick in the World Cup, if I remember rightly. I might be blurred, but yeah.
It was good. It was
sure
just...
what this...
I think the thing about that one was it just took... It costs a lot of money to implement that because each ball has to have a microchip in it as well. So I think the issue with it was the cost thing. And there was talk about Serie A implementing that. They didn't quite implement the same thing because they didn't do the same one with the microchip in the ball. So I think it's a cost thing, which is why they're not implementing that one yet. But yeah, I completely agree with you guys about the how it's just going to be the opposite, right? Was his kneecap a hair offside, or was his back of his heel a hair offside or whatever?
Yeah, you're just moving the line of argument back, 8 inches, 12 inches?
Right.
It's moving where the argument is.
I guess the argument is that there's more chance that a body will be completely... If you say in line is any part of the body you can play the ball with, there's more chance play will be able to continue and goals will stand, right? Because at the moment, it's their whole body can be in line, but if their kneecap is just in front. But if you're saying anything crosses over, so even if it is your heel, as long as it's in line with any part of the defender, it's onside. Now, I agree with the comments that were like, it's just going to lead to very deep line defence. It's going to get rid of any sort of, or the majority of gegenpressing. It's going to get rid of all of the sort of high action, intense defending, and it's going to suit maybe people like Harry Maguire, a bit slower defenders who can sit a little bit deeper, basically. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, Milo, I interrupted you.
That's all right. I wouldn't mind seeing it in action, but I think Iran's suggestion in chat there is just make the boots the reference point. You know, it's football. Your foot is what you have to connect with the ball. You know, after the play, as the play evolves, it's your foot that's making contact with the ball, unless you're cheating. But you know what I mean. Like that's probably the best thing. Just have the boots. The boot is the only frame of reference they look at. Then they could probably look at putting some sort of sensor eventually in the boots or something like that to make it more automated if that's a route that they want to go. But in the meantime, then the VAR team are only looking at the boots, nothing else. No elbows, no toenails, no fingertips, no shoulder blades, none of that stuff. Just the boots. I think that's probably the best idea because. And it makes sense, like I say, it's football, and that's the part of your body that you're going to be getting on the ball next. So yeah,
so you're saying just throw a little microchip in the boots?
I mean, you could if you wanted to go down that automated route eventually, which is, you know, most things are heading that way, aren't they?
That'd be pretty neat. I think that would be like if some part of the body, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be the boot. Maybe it could be that super masculine sports bra that everyone wears underneath their jersey, you know,
the GPS vest.
Yeah, maybe they could just do it like that's the point of reference. Maybe something like that.
Do you reckon this sort of rule?
The nipples. Saying you want the nipples to be the point of reference.
Automating the nipples. Yeah.
He's a nipple off.
Do you think it could lead to more bangers from attacking midfield in terms of goals because defenders will sit deeper? Because if you're a striker, right, you'll play as high up as you possibly can. If you just make sure that your heel is always in line with the last defender, you can physically push that defense back and back and back towards their own goal, which leaves space for the people like Odegaard, Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes. Can't think of a good Spurs attacking midfielder, sorry Hoff, but like to shoot from range, to have those opportunities, right? Madison, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
To have those opportunities from range for thronkers and benders and banana rockets and things like that from the edge of the box, it could be good. It could be good, but I think we've all become accustomed to a very high line of defence, right? That it's about the pace of the attacker, it's about the intelligence of the defence stepping up for an offside trap. It's going to be a lot harder to do an offside trap now with these sorts of rules.
Yeah, I think the intent was to make a more attacking game, but I'm assuming that was the intent. Arsene Wenger is apparently spearheading this whole thing to try to promote more action, more goals. I wonder if we'll see. I'm trying to think where this will make for a more attacking game, you know, like what situations will it become more attacking? Because the way we've all kind of taken it so far is this low line, low block defense. Like
you'd go back to having just the most rapid guy you can as a forward, have him play on the heels of the defender, and you could play balls over the top all day long and have him chase them, couldn't you? I mean, you know, maybe
that's what I mean. If I was the manager and I thought that's what they're going to do, I'd sit deep so that any ball over the top just goes straight through to the goalkeeper. I'd sit so deep that you can't do that, and then the space opens up in midfield.
It will create opportunities for other avenues of play, but I don't think the number of goals is an issue, is it? Like, I don't know that.
I don't know.
It seems very, and I'm going to be harsh here to half of the screen that I can see. It seems a very Americanized way of thinking more goals means more entertainment, and making an attacking advantage like this would mean more goals, and therefore that means more entertainment. It reminds me of, because obviously I played water polo at a very good level, and the rules suddenly changed one year when America took over the International Water Polo Federation, right? They got voted in as the leading group, and they signed these rules through. And the rule became, if you had a shot and the defender blocked it and it went out, it was a goal kick, so that the ball could be thrown in and a counter-attack could start really quickly. If the goalkeeper saved it and put it behind, it was equivalent of what's a corner in football. But that was encouraged to have quicker counter-attacks, to have more goals, and to get more people playing the sport in America. And I'm like, that's just bizarre, right? Changing the whole fabrication of a game to have more goals. Is that what this is about? Because it's always been give the advantage to the attacker, hasn't it? That's always been the shout. Yeah, the advantage. Right. Should it though? Should it be? If the defenders have played a sensible offside trap, they should be rewarded.
Yeah,
right.
And this is going to take that away. This is completely going to take that. How I look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if you're a forward that can't time your runs, then you
it's going to benefit you
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pulled up an interview with Arsene Wenger from 2021 when he first proposed this. They trialed it in the lower leagues of Chinese football. He says, our aim as IFAB, and I'm speaking under the control of my colleagues from IFAB, is always to see if we can make football more attractive. Oh, sorry, this is Infantino. Without changing the nature, obviously, of football. When it comes to offside law, with the change in the game, the speed of the game, and also with the introduction of VAR, which makes it clear when there's an offside and when there is not. Without VAR, the referees were having the instructions, in case of doubt, you let go. We have, sorry, I don't know, this is written a little weird. We have been seeing that maybe we can think about a new law which allows a bit more attack in football. And Arsene Wenger presented us today, as well as what this could look like. And obviously, in summary, it is an attacking players ahead of the last defender or second last player. And he explains the rule. So yeah, the idea is just for more attacking football from FIFA's side. Even more passionate, even more attacking than before. And they'll do anything they can for that. And they're claiming VAR is the thing that's allowing them to do this test, which makes sense. I mean, they'll have a fair way of testing it. Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a real old knobhead, fuddy-duddy, whatever you want to call it, but
fuddy-duddy.
Surely football.
Yeah, fuddy-duddy. Yeah.
Fuddy-duddy. Football is so popular everywhere around the world. Does it need such? I'm not saying it shouldn't change incrementally and it shouldn't evolve when things need to, but it's so popular and people love football everywhere around the world. Does it need this sort of revolutionary change? Surely a smaller little incremental change is more sensible. You know, I don't know. Making VAR better is a small incremental change that can benefit all the top leagues around the world, the World Cup, the Euros, Copa America, everything like that. It seems like such a big step that's so unneeded for the world's most popular sport, which everyone loves anyway.
He's not ruining his legacy. What a silly thing to say, Mordechai. He works for FIFA, and they've probably asked him to come up with some sort of plan. You know what I mean?
I remember the brief. Ignore the chat.
Yeah. When you bring it up, I have to put it on the screen. So,
gotcha.
That's what's happening right now. Yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you can promote attacking football. I think, you know, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago how football, at least Pep football, is just very possession based, and maybe, you know, when you break that possession, that you know, that grueling, you know, when they're just passing it for 20 odd passes, the breakaway from that, the counterattack from that will be given it a slight advantage, I guess. You know, you just send Rashford away or something. You know, like you just send him away, they get a little extra room to run in behind. It makes that tiki-taka, that possession, a little more. It adds a bit of risk factor to it, right? If you're playing, you know, with the center backs on the midfield, you know, pushing players forward into the area, it just adds another element of a small element of risk to that playing style. You know, the recovery time for the center backs will be a little more difficult if they get a counter break or something like that, I guess, which could kind of push back on this super possession based style, which I'm personally not crazy about. I know it's also attractive in its own way, type of football, but you know, counterattacking will be, you know, the possession will be nerfed a little bit, you know, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. I feel like this would benefit possession tactics just as much because it's going to open the gap between midfield and defence. So you can hold the ball and pass it around and wait for spaces and get more people forward slowly. I agree. It'll open it up to more counterattacks.
Yeah, that's the only other side I could think of. Yeah.
Pep's style of football, love it or hate it, Pep's style of football, I would believe with this rule would be the least affected tactical style. Because
Right.
you're still keeping the ball, you're still dominating possession. Whereas if you're already playing a counter-attacking, you have to adapt to now have a probably deeper defensive line to start your counter-attacks. If you're
Right.
doing a long ball tactic, there's now going to be more space between your defenders and your strikers. If you're playing sort of Eric Ten Hag style, it'll probably be similar, but you're committing men forward, which means you're going to be susceptible to that counter-attack, but you don't have the ball as much as a Pep system. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I don't think it will be as successful as IFAB or whatever they're called think it will be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. And like, you know, people are thinking this is going to be implemented quickly. I thought it might be implemented quickly. It's going to take years for something like this to get ratified or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.